Hey guys, welcome back to the Social Chronicles, a podcast where we talk about the intricacies of dating nowadays and the effect technology is having on it. Our third and final episode is about how technology is making dating harder nowadays in the way we process toxic relationships and the way we deal with problems in our relationships and just make dating harder nowadays than it actually has to be. I'm your host, Daniel Garcia, and I'm with my fellow co-hosts,
Chris.
Lily?
Paul.
Okay, so toxic relationships, do you guys have any past history that you guys maybe want to bring up?
Okay, so right now I know these two people, we'll call them and right now they're kind of going through a rough time, and instead of even talking to each other about how they're feeling, they're calling up these people, they're calling up people I know, even Danny, they're calling up us to talk about their relationship, complaining oh, I'm done with her, I'm not even gonna talk to her anymore, I'm done chasing her, or just avoiding their problem completely.
Do you guys think that is jealous or something? Like he's unsure of the relationship because of what he's seen about her?
I think it's kind of just more insecurities are poking through, and that the person that you guys said, it's projecting those insecurities onto the other person. I forgot.
Why would you say that social media plays a role in this?
Yeah, because on a website, it's Pew Research. It says that 27% of people are jealous or unsure of their relationship because of technology and all those things.
What specifically?
Going back to Chris, what he said, talking about actual examples through social media. So actually, one time I remember, it was not too long ago, a couple weeks ago. What name? They called me up, and they were just going
yo, what again?
Yeah, they're yo, da, 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 da. They're just going off on a rant, and then they were just they said they went through their TikTok of what was the other person's name? Went through I guess they followed each other on TikTok, saw some stuff about it on their TikTok, and he was just pointing out bro, why would they post this, da 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 da, and just saying kind of complaining about the stuff that they posted before even in the picture. And then I told them oh, it's not that big of a deal because it was before you, and they didn't really know or whatever. Basically just trying to diffuse the situation. And then she was no, basically just making it a problem that it didn't have to be. And then ever since then they were kind of lingering onto that to give them a reason to complain about. So I think that's kind of how what the role of social media plays in relationships and toxicity.
Yeah, I think it's making I think social media is really taking over every problem that they're having, making them so caught up in themselves and insecure that they don't even realize what they're doing to other people. They'll go out of their way to call someone and get their point across without even thinking about oh, is this person busy, this person doing that.
Well, I have another story talking about that. It's considering the find my iPhone. So I was with my friend, and we went to go watch a movie, and his girlfriend texted him. She was like, what are you doing in the parking lot? But we were inside the movie, and she was like, this shit never lies to me. And she was basically stalking him. And she's telling him this doesn't lie to me, what are you doing there? But he was inside the movie theater, so she was just going crazy.
Yeah, Find My is so easy to just see where someone's at now.
So technology is kind of just this gateway to finding out more stuff about our significant other that we didn't really try to find out, but it kind of just it was convenient enough to find out. And then when we actually find out the information that maybe we don't kind of what you're saying, they're in the parking lot or whatever, and then it kind of, those problems linger in the back of your head, which just create more problems further down the road that you don't talk about because you don't want to say oh, I was stalking your TikTok or I was stalking your Find My. And then
you would never say that to their face.
Yeah, because people nowadays.
So you say that it could it kind of correlates to indirect communication. They will communicate and it causes this escape, so people don't communicate directly nowadays.
Yeah, I would say so. Social media is providing I guess a different way that we handle our relationships nowadays. Because nowadays you don't really see people actually talking about their problems with their significant other, and then they kind of just drop. They kind of just drop hints nowadays that they hope that their significant other picks up on, and if they don't, it becomes a problem for.
No, yeah, and I see that a lot nowadays. That people are hey, they just text you and then just to get your attention and they want to ghost you. That's another thing too. That's so toxic. people just want to text you and ghost you. And like obviously you're behind the screen, so you're not really like it's different than saying things face to face.
Yeah, and then what was her name? Altrina, right? Yeah, Altrina was just telling me like not too long ago actually that like Sharnina was just like he doesn't talk to like communicate. He just like gets one thing and automatically just blames her, and like she doesn't like that.
Because he's not talking to her.
Yeah,
right?
he's not talking to her, and then like he sees one thing and then he thinks this and then he only thinks that. He's like not open minded to how other
What I think is worse though is like that they're communicating, or I don't know if they are, but like that people nowadays are communicating on like through text. And like I would say text is like a safe space, like quote unquote safe space, for like people to not fear what they're gonna say or consider how others may feel. And like, you know, it won't really like also you're not face to face so you can't tell how the other person is feeling.
Yeah, so like you could say something and like
It doesn't translate that
yeah.
way.
And then like if it doesn't come across to your significant other the right way, like you're not there to confront each other about it, so it's kind of just like whatever.
And like a lot of people nowadays, like they'll hang out and like they'll spend the whole day together, and after a while, after they get home, they'll be like they'll talk about the problem of the day through text with them. They'll be like, oh, I didn't like that you did this. Like, why couldn't you say that in person?
Yeah, they'll hold it in all day. It could start at the beginning of the day, the problem. It'll go out through the whole day, and then they'll be like, oh, you know, like.
I didn't really like that you did this. I didn't like
Yeah.
that.
And then like sometimes like some examples that I've seen is like you can tell something is up with the person, and like you ask them about it, it's like, oh, it's nothing.
They
and then,
never want to see what
they
it
never
is,
want to actually
like-
talk about it until like they're confined in their own space at home, and then they can text you about it. Would you say like that like makes relationships more toxic than they actually have to be?
Yes, definitely. Like you're not even like talking to the person like in person. Like you want to feel safe, like texting them.
Yeah, social
Yeah.
media is like just bad for relationships. Like on this other like website from Wi-Fi Towns, it says that almost 60% of divorce cases are from social media activity, and then like 20% of like cheating cases, like sexual activity, was from that.
No, yeah, and you see that like with the fairs and stuff too. It's all online. People sending like text messages online, and then obviously like they hide their social media from the significant other, from their SO.
So,
And like
What's SO?
significant.
Oh.
yeah.
No, and like they'll hide their affairs and they'll continue the affair online. And I also think that's so toxic that like technology nowadays, like it's not that it's a bad thing, but like it keeps a connection between you and like this ex-partner, you know, and that maybe it was like such a good relationship. And I just like it keeps you guys like connected still through other forms, like exterior forms.
So like if like I break up with someone and like I don't want to keep in touch with them in person, but like I still like follow their pages and stuff. And
Yeah.
I'm just like I guess like, oh, like what's this person doing nowadays? I'm just like keeping up with them.
And I could say that like I could probably assume that back then it wasn't as easy to cheat as it is nowadays. Like you could literally just have
Yeah.
9 people in your DMs or something while talking.
And
like
they'll never know.
yeah, they will never know. But then like you can't do that like back then when there was no type.
And they'll put this all under the idea of trust.
Yeah, and then like going like they can have multiple people in their DMs, and then like if you're the other person and like you suspect something and like you say like, oh, can I go through your phone? Then that that creates more problems because then it's like, oh, like why don't you trust me? Like da 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 da. Like I've never given you a reason to not trust me. But it's just kind of like.
And like that kind of like goes like
Yeah.
social media is such a not just a problem in like general in society nowadays. Like it's such a problem in relationships, like that you have to like that you go right automatically to someone's phone. Like, can I check your phone? And it's not like, oh.
But you can still delete it and like
Well, yeah,
or
that's
hide it too.
But I think like also aspect of toxicity is not like it's like toxic to oneself. Like people that like nowadays people that are getting ruined online. And that's a good topic. Like people like it creates like opportunities for these groomers or like these older men, women, whatever, to text these younger kids. You know, and I don't think that's ethical or just.
So I guess like what you can say like social media is doing to relationships, it's like now it's just kind of like easy access for like anything to happen now. Like you can just like one day like if you just wanted to cheer on your significant other, just like text up someone else, call up someone else, or just like I don't know.
Like they're maturing, but like in like such a toxic way. Like it's nurturing them in like such a bad environment.
Oh my god, I have this friend that all he does, like, he doesn't even know what he wants, but then he has like this, I don't know, he got so heartbroken that he's just like leading on like 6 other people, and that's
Yeah.
so messed up.
And would you say that kind of plays like into like it's their own mentality. Kind
Yeah,
of
it's like,
oh, like
yeah.
I got heartbroken. Like now I need to get my get back and get with a bunch of people.
Yeah.
And it's just like
Do you think he's trying to like prove something?
Or, like,
Prove
he's trying to
something
compensate?
the breakup?
maybe
Or-
compensate, but at the same time, they could feel like they're just so like they want to fill that void of inside them. They just got heartbroken, you know. But then that's like not the right way to do it, I guess.
Oh yeah. So essentially, technology and social media are really toxic.
Really
I would
toxic.
say, like, yeah.
so like if you're gonna go like about it in a relationship, you probably shouldn't go about it like in a social media type way. Like
Well, yeah,
you really
I-
need to provide that connection.
Well, like, let's provide
in person.
solutions now since we're talking about solutions. Because we already talked about the problems, right? I would say, like, don't revolve your relationship just around technology and don't linger onto technology to help you to be a form of communication between you two.
Like you need to be able to establish that ground like in person that you guys can talk about to each other. Like
Not
talk
even
about your
just
problems.
when you say ground, like, I'm thinking like comfortability too. Like, that comfortability to be able to communicate with someone and not have to be like,
Yeah.
oh,
Don't be scared to like bring up your problems in person because like then that means like you guys like truly do trust each other and you truly are like in this relationship with each other that you can talk about your problems in person instead of having to resort through like talking later over text.
Yeah, I wouldn't say social media is like it is bad, but it's not all bad when you learn to use it correctly.
Yeah, like I would never date someone online, you know.
Oh,
Girls,
that's-
like
Like,
just
yeah,
talk to them
like
through there,
yeah,
like-
social media like you can connect with people obviously and like you can meet your significant other on social media, but I think like
Oh,
after a while.
Let's talk about like Gypsy Rose Blanchard.
Oh, I don't.
Have you heard about her story? How she killed her mom because not because just because of this, but it's also played a role.
She met someone online and they were so she had never had like that connection with someone before.
Like someone out external, like besides her mom.
And then she finally found someone that she connected through online that she almost never met, that she pretty much never met in person, except for like one time. And she just felt so in love with him and like that genuine connection that she felt comfortable enough to talk about her problems about her mom. And they killed her mom. Like,
But that guy came and killed her mom for her, and all because they met online too. And they found that. That's crazy, like technology and stuff. But yeah, that's kind of I think that's a little away from the topic.
Just don't. So basically, just like, I guess, just don't root your like
Relationship.
your relationships in social media. Like, don't depend on social media in your relationships.
I would say don't depend on technology as a form of communication.
no.
Because then like that there's like a lack of like emotion and that
Yeah.
you're trying to get across from your.
You have
Let's just
emotions
establish
through
it.
text. Like,
Exactly,
you
because
can't
things
really
don't
get your point
translate the
across. Yeah,
way.
you can't really get your point across through text. Like, I think some people text drier. That's the word, like a drier, I guess, or like just sound like okay, like literally O and then K or OKAY, like, and there's like people think like there's a shift in tone.
Yeah, and essentially they don't mean it like that.
Yeah.
It just doesn't
It's
translate.
just they're just dry. Like, they
Yeah, like
really-
I'll admit,
yeah.
I'm not a good texter. Like I can't text. Like I'll say something, and like I don't mean it that way. But then like when I read it back, like I'm like, oh, like they probably thought like I meant it like that. But like in reality, like I didn't. Like that's why I hate texting so much because like there's just like a lack of like emotion that you can't get through. Like you can't.
Yeah, and the
get your
meaning of
emotions
text
back.
have like changed so much nowadays. Like the word okay, when you see it like okay, right? Like you're like, are they mad at me or something? But then like
Yeah.
it literally just means okay. Like
Like, chill, it's okay. like,
I
it's
know
okay.
exactly. So then social media and just technology nowadays just warped everything. It's like so many more problems than it has to be.
Thank you guys for tuning into our podcast. This concludes our week-long journey into social dynamics, social dilemmas regarding love. Thank you guys. This is Social Chronicles. Bye-bye.